there. Welcome back or welcome newbies if you're new here. Thank you for joining me either way. Excuse me. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about cravings, triggers, and the emotions behind them. Um, this is a video that I did and lost while I was in the skilled nursing facility. So it's not going to be quite the same as the original that I had, but it happens. What are you going to do? But it's important to me to cover this topic because we all have cravings, and I think it's something that's not really addressed a lot. That, yes, we're doing the work, we talk about the work, but a lot of the work is dealing with cravings. It's not just appetite suppression 100% of the time, or, oh, I suddenly developed a taste for kale. No, I hated kale before, I still hate it. Um, it is what it is. If that's something that interests you, then stick around and I hope you'll enjoy the video. If not, feel free to take off. I understand. So, are you guys familiar with the British TV show Super Size versus Super Skinny? I don't know about the rest of you, but I have a guilty pleasure in watching um, weight related shows, um, like my 600-pound life. Often, what my 600-pound life, where are they now? 1,000-pound sisters, best friends, things like that. Super size, super skinny. And it makes me so happy to see these people working hard and getting to their goals. And it's fantastic. Um, so it's not like, oh, I'm rooting for them to fail. I mean, there is a little bit of that reality element where there's the drama, but I'm not really a fan of reality television, but this is just one area where I kind of enjoy it. Now, I've seen several episodes of Super Size versus Super Skinny, and it is not the most helpful of shows, I would say. Um, it, um, I guess it takes place at what they call a feeding clinic, and they take somebody who is obese or morbidly obese and someone who is underweight and really needs to eat some pasta, um, and is at risk for health problems, and they have them switch diets. So the obese person, for I think 3 days, I want to say, the obese person ends up drinking nothing but coffee for breakfast or having a slice of toast or nothing. And meanwhile, the super skinny person ends up having like 3 bowls of cereal, 2 pieces of toast. There's that for the drama, the ridiculous amounts of food that people can put away. And I'm not going to shame anyone for eating a lot of food because I suffer from BED too. And I have to be very careful with it, especially certain foods that can really trigger it in certain moods. Now, so it's more for the showmanship and the drama of it more than I think the actual helping of people, even though they do try to put the supersized person on a diet. Um, I think they just go with calorie restriction and they give the super skinny person a prescription to eat more, and guide them about what they could be eating for nutrient dense foods and proteins to, build their muscles back up and build their body back up. And there was one particular episode I was watching while I was in the clinic, which ironic, and I'm going to link it down below. It's season 5, episode 2. I guess in Britain they call it series. So series 5, episode 2, 7, doesn't matter. There was a particular super size and super skinny matchup, and it was, I can't remember the big guy's name, but the younger guy, the thin guy's name was Nathan. And they always show you, clips of the big person eating, and just chowing down on whatever they want, and clips of the super skinny person just walking and ignoring food and sitting with their friends and like eating one french fry. Again, it's reality TV, it's drama. Normally, that wouldn't bother me at all. Like, I know what I'm watching. But having been in the skilled nursing facility and eating nursing home food for, I think it was like 3.5 weeks at that point, I was watching the supersized guy's diet, and he also suffers from binge eating disorder. And, um, which, let's be honest, most of the supersized people probably do. Um, but he was eating burgers, and his favorite food, his weakness was pizza. And they just showed him eating pizza, and I was like, give me the pizza. I want pizza. Um, they even made a pizza like they're like, oh, okay, so your dough is made out of this much butter and this much lard and this much sugar. And they poured the raw ingredients to make a raw ingredient pizza. And then they're like, there's this much sugar in the sauce. And then there's this much lard in all your cheese and pepperoni. Then there's this much. And um, even watching the doctor guy do it, and the supersized guy, he was like, oh, yeah, because he's got to be for TV. But to me, and it was sitting right next to the actual pizza that they were creating. And I was just staring at the actual pizza, like drooling. I was like a cartoon character. I just wanted to go up and lick the screen. Like, mm. And so it was really, really triggering for me. And I was still on the Zepbound Manjaro. Um, they gave me Manjaro in the clinic. They're the same thing, whatever. Um, so it wasn't like I was off of it, but it gave me a taste of what it would be like to be off of it. And I'm glad I had that. Even though I was craving pizza all night, like it actually crossed my mind to call up, order pizza, and have it delivered to the nursing clinic. That's how desperate I was for pizza, is to get it delivered in a skilled rehab clinic. I thought about pizza all night, and I was just so, and even the next day, I was like, pizza, 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 pizza. The cravings did calm down, and it wasn't a matter of I was hungry and needed to eat something. I had just eaten lunch when this happened. Granted, being on nursing home food for a while, you're bored. It's bland food, and anything looks good at that point. But this particular food in this particular episode, I hate this word. I hate saying it. I understand the idea of it, but I kind of just hate it as well. It triggered me. Um, I know it just really brought up a lot of emotions for me. There's a channel I watch. I don't know if you guys watch or are familiar with her. I will tag her down below, but her channel is Carry On Living Well. And she's a lady who has lost 200 pounds and apparently still has a lot to go. But her channel speaks mostly primarily about the emotions behind overeating and what triggers a binge. And she talks a lot about binge eating disorder and the emotions behind it and the shame spiral and journaling, and how when she was first losing weight, she would stand there in the kitchen just crying because instead of reaching for, chips, her old best friend or something, she was, processing emotions and thinking about what made her want these chips and why these chips and things like that. So she talks a lot about the emotions and the value of journaling your feelings and approaching your feelings and just, you know, kind of touching them, poking them what am I feeling because I'm clearly not hungry at this point, what am I feeling with this craving? And, some cravings do have validity. If you're craving a salad, you probably need something in that salad, iron, vitamin K, whatever. If you're craving steak, you probably need iron or something. I don't know. But if you're craving a Snickers bar, possibly your blood sugar's low. But so, and she's got a lot of valuable episodes that I could rewatch again and again, just talking about the South. And so when I was having this desperate craving for pizza, I was kind of tenderly poking at my emotions and thinking, what would it accomplish if I ordered a pizza and had it delivered and just binged on the whole thing? How would I feel? First of all, I know I would have a shame spiral. I would feel terrible, but why did I want that pizza? What was I feeling? And I realized I was feeling lonely and isolated and bored and sad with what was going on in my life, where I was at. And that didn't really take away the craving, but it gave me some guidance. And it's hard when you recognize your emotions. It's hard to say, wow, um, I feel down because I feel lonely. It's hard to accept that and it's hard to recognize it and put a name on it. But I do think it helps. I do think it has value to say, I am mad because I think you neglected me. I am mad because I don't think you're listening to me. Whatever. Even to yourself. I am mad because that person didn't listen to me. Identifying it, naming it, it has a lot of value, even as difficult as it is. Like I said, it doesn't magically take the craving away because, most of us know that certain foods are programmed to light up our brains in the same manner as heroin or cocaine. Um, it's been proven with rats, and there's a wonderful book called Rethinking Thin that discusses the studies they did in depth. Although in the end of the book, it gets a little depressing. So I would skip the end. But the part where it talks about the rat study and the lighting up of where it lights up your brain, um, yeah, I recently saw a video where the vlogger was saying, like, why is it so hard to resist? Why does it taste so good? Why is it so easy? Why is it that home prepared food it just doesn't compare? Why do you make a burger at home, but you get a burger at Chili's and the Chili's one just, what is the deal? And it's because it's programmed that way. It's made that way. It's not just that they soak it in butter, which yum, but it's designed that way. It's designed to be addictive. You know, those chemicals are there, and junk food is designed to be addictive. And so we struggle with it just the same way someone might struggle with trying to get a fix. It's your fix. That pizza would have been my fix. And had I been within reach of pizza, I don't know if I would have been strong enough to say no, which I don't like admitting. I want to believe that I would have been strong enough to be like, no, thank you, or just a few bites. But I can't honestly say 100% that I would have been tame about it. So obviously, I'm still dealing with a lot of my emotions, and I still struggle with the BED. I don't nearly as much anymore. I have had so much therapy, so many years of therapy, that it has really helped. And then watching Carry On Living Well has really kind of reminded me and gotten into my psyche about, like, you know, remember your emotions, remember who you are, you're a badass, you know. So I find that I can't watch Super Size versus Super Skinny anymore because it's a triggering TV show. I can still watch my 600-pound life. Where are they now? I can still watch 1,000-pound sisters or 1,000-pound best friends. I can still, I'm cheering them on. But Super Size versus Super Skinny, there's for that drama, there's so much focus on what the super size person eats that I'm just like, I want it. And so I find it triggering, and I find that it's not a good idea for me to watch. Um, like I said, I am going to link to the specific episode below, but I also do want to give you a trigger warning if you do choose to watch it in total. At the very end, they do discuss other EDs, the most popular ones, um, or popular or well known ones, I guess. So they do discuss that and they do show some ladies with ED. Some of them are in very healthy recovery and some are still really struggling too. So I would give that a trigger warning in case you want to watch the episode in total. Excuse me, my voice is getting rough. So I don't think there's any real major point to this video, just that for me, it was almost a test run of what it will be like when I am offset bound, because eventually my insurance will be like, okay, you've come far enough, you know. And I have lost 75 pounds in the past, and I did it the natural way. It took me 18 months to do, but I know I can do it, and I know how I do it, and I'm following the tenets of that. And maybe I'll discuss that in another video of what I do and don't do. But yeah, it was a little test run. And I don't know, it just kind of made me realize like there's going to be challenges ahead, especially when I do come off of it. And I think it's important to recognize that even though we have Manjaro or Zepbound or Ozempic or Wegovy, cravings don't just magically disappear. Triggers don't just magically disappear. We can't live in an untriggered world. You know, I remember like a week later, I was watching telly and every commercial break had at least one pizza ad. And by then I was over my craving and my desire for pizza. I was just like, oh, that's pizza. Like it was just another thing, like as if they were advertising school supplies. But I took note of the fact that at least one pizza ad every single commercial break. So it's in your face. And I just, I want to acknowledge that, yeah, I get good appetite suppression. A lot of people do, a lot of people don't. But appetite suppression doesn't take away the emotional urge to eat, or the urge to binge, to stuff feelings down, to get that fix. So you're not feeling whatever you're feeling. And sometimes it's really hard to know what you're feeling. Like, I don't know. I don't know why I want to eat an entire pizza and garlic bread. I don't know why, but I know I do. And you kind of got to approach it one step at a time. So I just want to acknowledge, yeah, triggers exist, cravings exist, we may get appetite suppression, but emotional eating still exists. And the mental stuff is the hard stuff. Um, Changing your diet, working on that, exercising, those are the easy things. I think dealing with the mental part, and when people talk about doing the work, I think a lot of it is the mental work. I think that's the hard stuff. So, anyway, I just wanted to discuss that and share my experience. And sorry for talking so long. I didn't mean to talk this long, but I guess it meant something to me. So if you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. Consider sharing this video, consider liking it. If you haven't subscribed already, I'd appreciate it. Click the bell so you get notified whenever I post a video, because I'm sure you don't want to miss out. Okay, thank you for being here with me today.